Happy Sunday, December 26th. I hope you all had a great Christmas yesterday. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio's NFL Pub Hub. We have 6 top cappers joining us today, giving us their best sides, totals, and player props. And every bet given out on the show is tracked. And my goodness, do we have a crazy amount of COVID issues and injury problems? I see my guy... My guy Trusty says, I wonder if Jimmy is awake. I've been awake since 5:30 in the morning, tracking all the COVID issues. I mean, I started yesterday tracking all the COVID issues, but it was painstaking, and it took a long time. But we have everything together, and I have way more action than I feel comfortable with. I guess that we have these perceived advantages with the COVID issues that certain teams are facing. Are they legitimate advantages? I'm quite nervous about it. The action that I put in on Tuesday looks awful pretty much right now. Only a couple lines were beaten. Most were terrorized by injury and COVID issues. I should have waited. There was tons of opportunities for me to bet last night, which I did. I added a bunch of action, and I probably should have waited for everything. The weeks also started off terrible. 49ers didn't cover, and then I lost on the Browns first half yesterday. That was just infuriating watching that football game. So there's a lot of big news going on. We have a great show for you guys. We start with Mr. Alexpavone, then Jacksonville Zoe, Clint, star of the DieHardMMA podcast, then Billy Brisbane getting Bills at 11:55. Then Connor Mack will be joining us. Then the big Ragu will be joining us as well. We have our top 4 cappers on this show will all be here joining us. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat already. Hope you all had a great Christmas. It's time to pay for all that shit. Real Deal Prime in the house. Lamont Williams, great to see you. JW says, good morning, fellas. Excited to be able to cap games with you all. Great to have you, JW. Jesse Gomez, Nunya, Tasha, Diesel, Eugene in the house. There's Trusty, Nasty Nate, AB, Mr. Funmonk, B-Ball 619. Slatsy says, Travis Kelce ruled out for the Chiefs. Yes, that's the, but I mean, it's moved to 10.5. I mean, my bet was that I expected one of Kelce and Tyreek Hill to be announced out. I get that with Kelce being announced out, and I'm at a much worse number than what's available right now. So a lot of confusing market moves, and we'll try to make some sense out of all this. Star Child, Gerald Jones, Turnsy, play of the day is Bucks team total over. That must be first half team total over 13.5 and minus 130. I'll pop that here so we can talk about all of that. I've got the most important news. We've got Alex Pavone ready to jump on the show. Jared JB, Puzzler, G Biz in the house. Harold Williams, Cabby ready to get to work. Blazed Towns fan says, Merry Christmas, everyone. I had a lucky day on NBA and NFL yesterday. Nice job. Labyrinth UFC breakdown in the house. Joe Chris, Jay Stone, Leaf Fetterchak, Swervin, Deacon Mike, Jared TG. What an absolutely great group. Joe Chris says Eckler ruled out. Yes, there's a ton of Chargers that are out, but that line hasn't changed very much. Very, very confusing. Birdie ready to go. Trusty says, I know Bebsy hates Thursday football. All the things I looked at, I'm glad I skipped yesterday because I hate Saturday night football. All right. Harold Williams, nice job yesterday. And Nunya says, you think the COVID issues will handicap the Chargers that much? I still think they can put up 35 and hold the Texans to 21 or under. I do think it's going to affect them quite a bit. I mean, yes, they have a huge advantage at quarterback, but I did move on the Texans to plus 10.5. Gary Vaughn, Nut Flush Allen. I will be seeing Nut Flush Allen shortly at the Great Race Place, just in a few hours here at Santa Anita. It's a beautiful sunny day, not very warm in LA, but beautiful. Okay, let's go over the major news issues, and then we'll bring in our first guest, Danny Lopez. Great to see you, Danny, my guy. So Nick Foles is starting for the Bears. Adam Thielen is in for the Vikings. As Slatsy mentioned, Travis Kelce out for the Chiefs. Jared Goff is out for the Lions. Tim Boyle will start. Both Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley are out for the Ravens. Josh Johnson will start. And Teddy Bridgewater, as you guys already know, is out. And Drew Lock is starting for the Broncos. My action here, I have Ravens plus 2.5, an absolute joke. And just, that just completely blew up in my face. It's now 7, and it's embarrassing. Vikings plus 3. It's back at 3. Okay. All right. That makes me feel a little better. Again, I'm looking at Bet365 what I would have to bet. So I got minus 115. So that makes me feel a little better. Chargers Houston over 45.5. What a mess. I cannot believe that it hasn't dropped considerably with all the offensive weapons out for the Chargers, but I'm not comfortable with that spot. I have Chicago-Seattle under 43.5. That's moved to 41.5. So I beat that market move by 2 points, a rare success for me. I have the under 44.5 in Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs. That's moved up to 45, and the Steelers plus 8.5. That's a mess. That's at 10.5 right now, which is shocking to me. Then we have Broncos plus 100. It's minus 110. Beat that move by 10 cents. And then Washington, Dallas under 47.5, and it's at 46.5. So beat that move by a point. So I guess going over it all, it's not as much of a travesty as I kind of. Then we go to additions. Last night I added the Jags at plus 110. It's now at plus 20. Plus 120. I don't like seeing that. I have Falcons minus 6.5 at minus 115. It's now at minus 7 at minus 110. So comfortable there. I have Detroit, Atlanta under 42.5. That's where it stands right now. I moved on the Patriots minus 1.5. It's now at minus 1. Surprise. I did get minus 105, so you could sort of see it leaning in that direction. And then I moved on 2 double-digit dogs, and Panthers are now at 11. You know, that was stupid. It was stupid. I don't know why I feel the need to have to bet against the Buccaneers or get that in early. That was not necessary. Stupid. And then I have the Texans plus 10.5 at minus 110, and that has moved to 12.5. What a joke. Okay, not happy. Starchild says you lean with the Texans even with all the players out. I think that we'll go over that game because we have other cappers making moves on it, but I think the issues with the Chargers are bigger than the issues with the Texans. Now, the Chargers started out as a much better football team, so do with that what you may. Trusty says the best thing you've done on your vacation, Jim. I'm about to do it. It'll be opening day at the Great Race Place. All right, there's silence. It's been a while since I tuned in. I've been busy working, but shout out everybody at Pub Sports. Much love. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's. Deacon says you can tell Jimmy's in California wearing a Dodgers cap, hoping to reduce the chances of getting mugged. Okay, let's get to work right now and bring on your first guest. Currently getting over COVID, as a lot of people are right now. And I can't really see him. I can see him in my peripheral vision, but I imagine he's shining and defeating COVID easily. Let's bring on to the show your first guest of the day, Mr. Mralexpavone in the house. Pavi, what's happening, man?
Hey, Jim, what's going on? I'm good, bro. I'm good. I smashed COVID up pretty good. Nothing too crazy. My smell actually got better, believe it or not, with the cove. But things were actually tasting better. So, I'm doing well. Thanks. Happy holidays. I hope you're doing well. Where are you? Did you book a private room in a library? Where are you?
I'm in LA. I'm at my dad's place in LA.
Oh, dude, this man's a reader.
Yeah. My father.
Holy heck.
Yeah, the only thing I've read over the holidays is the Daily Racing Form. That's the only thing I have read for with horses. But let's get right to work. We have Pavi in action right now. Pavi, I know that you might have some additions here, but you've got 3 games, and we're going to start with Detroit Lions 2-11-1, 0-6-1 on the road at Atlanta Falcons 6-8, 1-5 at home. We're at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The Lions, Aruware has been absolutely spectacular. He's blowing my mind with how good he's been, and now he's out with a thumb injury. So you have Jared Goff out as well for the Lions. Those are 2 huge, huge losses. Then Brockers, defensive lineman Brockers with the knee, offensive lineman Jonah Jackson with the back injury, outside linebacker Julian Okwara with the ankle, wide receiver Khalif Raymond shoulder, linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin with the shoulder, wide receiver Josh Reynolds questionable, and DeAndre Swift questionable as well. That's a lot of issues with the Lions here. And then for the Falcons, defensive tackle Marlon Davidson has COVID. So does linebacker, lightly used, Emmanuel Ellerbe. They're both out, but that's the only COVID issues they have. And wide receiver Tajay Sharp is doubtful. So that's the situation we're dealing with. Let me just pull up the market movement here at Bet365. We had this actually open. Interesting. So I don't know why this really went to 6.5. It doesn't make sense to me. But this opened with Atlanta at -4.5, and then went to 4 initially. That was 6 days ago. And then it just started climbing 5.5 to 6, 5.5, 5, 5, 6, 6.5, 7. Then it was back at 6.5 this morning again. And then it's jumped back to 7 here. And from a total standpoint, at Bet365, this opened at 44. It's now down to 42.5. And it was at 42, actually, a couple days ago, down to 42.5, down to 42, up to 42.5. Take it away, Pavi. How are you moving on this one?
I think because Goff they were sort of on the fence whether he was going to play or not, is why it was 4, and now we see it at 7. Are there any 6.5s, by the way, in this game?
I'll pull up a couple books here and see what I can get, but keep breaking down.
Because once I get to 7, I don't know how comfortable I feel laying a touchdown with Atlanta. Atlanta, obviously not a good team. Detroit's been playing really well the last few weeks. They beat Minnesota that game. Then, obviously, they got smacked around in Denver. And then they played Arizona and beat them handily last week. So Detroit is playing with some fight. But now you lose Goff and Boyle's in. And the last time we saw Boyle, I believe, was against Cleveland. They covered, but I think the guy threw for 77 yards. As well as Detroit's playing, I'm not doing anything or putting any money on them with Boyle at the helm. Atlanta at home is not – look, Atlanta getting points is not good at all. They're not a good team, but they still have a little bit of hope to get into the playoffs. And I think with Boyle being the quarterback for the Lions, I think Atlanta's gonna see this as an opportunity to smack them around a bit. So I think anything under a touchdown is Atlanta's the play here personally. And the fact that I see so much money and so many picks, the public's on Detroit is a red flag for me. Anytime the public's on Detroit, I'm weary. So I'm going to take the Falcons all day, every day in this spot.
Yeah, it's shocking that
it is crazy,
and it's not even it's Goff is one thing, but Arouare has at times looked like the best corner in the entire league, and you take him out. So right now we have 34,096 tickets in. 54% of the tickets and 83% of the cash is on Detroit, and it's just absolutely shocking to me. Birdie's going to Cap Santa Anita. Good luck there. Good. Stay in touch with me, Birdie. I'd love to see what you're doing, because I've only really got through races 1 through 7. All right. And then don't you think that the Lions will be able to run on Atlanta? Of course. Yes. I mean, Atlanta's a terrible rush defense, but
are they a terrible rush defense? Is there any way to pull up the stats and see if they're that horrible of a rush defense?
Yeah, I will do that now, but they get exploited. And if you bet player props against the Falcons defense with the RB1, you would cash constantly all year long.
Atlanta has had a tough time the last couple of weeks, just from the top of my head, scoring in the red zone. I know they struggled against the Bucs a few weeks ago, and then last week against the Niners as well. 2 games that they could have covered. I mean, the score showed that they got blown out, but it was 2 games that they could have covered. And it seems like every week they flip-flop the Falcons. They cover one week, then they don't, then they cover, then they don't. And now they're at home. Again, Boyle is – I can't put any money on Boyle. I can't. But, yeah, let's see if – is that rush defense as bad as we think they are?
I'm going to pull – sorry, this one didn't –
If you can. I mean –
They're 13th against the rush.
Is that bad? What the hell was that? First of all, I liked it. It scared me. I had no idea what was happening. I swear to God, I thought the president got shot. I was so scared. 13th against the rush is not bad. I mean, it's not phenomenal, but it's not like Detroit's just an unbelievable rushing team. Swift is very good. He's a dynamic running back, but 13th against the rush isn't bad. Isn't as bad as people think. So
it's not.
13th
obviously
worst too. 13th worst. Sorry, I should have phrased that better. 13th worst. 13th worst meaning they've given up the 13th most yards. So still not bad, but just want to rephrase.
Still not bad, but not great. Thank you for not doing the breaking news thing again. I honestly shit my pants a little bit, but I don't know if that's because of the coffee or the breaking news. But I did get a little scared. I won't lie.
And that's our guy Jose coming to us from a really nice condo in Miami right now. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of offense in this spot. I think that you pack the box and see if Boyle can beat you. I can get you a 6.5 at Pinnacle, but it will cost you money. It'll cost you minus 122.
Yeah, I mean, I already moved on in personally, so yeah, okay, let's do it. Cost me a couple cents, cost me 12 cents. I'll do it. I'll break the piggy bank for this one.
Oh, right. Falcons minus 6.5 at minus 122. Mike M says any value with Reynolds at running back. I think you need to, Mike M, the only way you can do that is if you have some real legitimate information on what DeAndre Swift, where he's at with his shoulder injury. But I think it does make sense. All right, there is the first game for Pabby. Falcons minus 6.5 and minus 122. Next up for Pabby, we have 1 p.m. Eastern, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Carolina Panthers. Let me just make sure this is.
I did pick this game earlier in the week, and then I couldn't sleep at night thinking about putting money on the Carolina Panthers. I did last week. That play action, I think it was a bootleg where the Bills got a touchdown there. It haunted me for 3 days. I don't think I could do it. I know the Bucs are decimated with some key injuries, especially offensively, but I can't do it. I can't lay the number on Carolina at home. They stink. I understand it's a divisional game. You're getting 10.5. I think it climbed up to 11. I don't know if it's back. I think it's at 11 now.
Yeah, it's at 11.
I still can't do it, especially Brady coming off getting shut out in prime time. I can't do it, man. Pull it. I pulled it. I texted you. I couldn't do it. I was distraught. I'm out of that game.
That's fine. I did move on it. So let's just talk about it briefly here. I did move on the Panthers last night. I got a half point worse than I would get right now. Or excuse me, I think I got did I get a full point worse? God, a full point worse. That was so stupid. I did not need to move on it against. Why? Why do I keep making this mistake of moving against the Buccaneers early? But listen to this. You have Mike Evans hamstring out, safety Antoine Winfield Jr. foot out. Outside linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul, shoulder out. Linebacker Levante David, foot out. Running back Leonard Fournette, gone, done. Chris Godwin, ACL, done for the year. You have cornerback Jamel Dean and cornerback Richard Sherman, Achilles, who could very likely be out. And then you have a Panthers team that has not been ravaged by COVID. So let's just take a look at where the cash lies here. And we have 39,758 tickets in. 37% of the tickets are on the Panthers, 53% of the cash. It's perfect for me. 49% of tickets on the over, 92% cash on the over. Turnsey says Bucks cover today. And Turnsey's on that Bucks team total over 13.5 as his play of the day. And I'm quite comfortable in that. Zachariah says AB back. He's playing for incentives. Yes, and Antonio Brown needs to be covered at all times. And then they have both Gronkowski and Braid as very dangerous tight ends. Look, they can still move the ball, but the Panthers' defense has never been the problem. So, look, I'm comfortable here backing the Panthers. Gary Vaughn says Buccaneers covered by 2 TDs. Look, the public is still on Tampa Bay, 63% of the tickets. But the big bets are coming in on Carolina, and I'm comfortable there. Terry Walker on Carolina, too.
Is Cam playing? I think he's going to split time with Darnold's back, I believe, which is that good? I don't think that's good at all. Cam's you can't trust him. He could turn the ball over, at any time, anywhere in the field. He doesn't, handle the football the right way. And then, Carolina's they're just going for it on fourth down in their own end, on their own 30. They're going for it at 4th and 3 because they have nothing to lose. So they're just playing volatile football, and I don't trust it. I know they're getting 11 points, and I think it's a good bet because of all the injuries. Their defense is pretty good. They don't do anything offensively, but just the reckless football they play, I'm not doing it. And they don't really have a potential for a backdoor cover. That's the problem with these teams, like Houston and Carolina's. Their offenses are so piss poor. Pardon my French, there, Jim. They can't hit these backdoor covers because they have no offensive firepower. So for that reason, I had to pull out of the bet.
I get why you did. I do not think Cam Newton will get 50% of the snaps. I think he'll get the red zone snaps, especially close to the goal line. Maybe he's better move than that. But Sam Darnold can be dangerous moving the ball with his feet around the goal line. I hear you. I did move on it. I did move on the Panthers. The curb stomp play of the day is the under 44.5 from my guy Mike M. Okay, let's move on to the third spot, and then you can tell me if you're going to be adding anything. But it's Jacksonville Jaguars at New York Jets. So look, I don't get this market move towards the Jets for the life of me. I can't figure it out, and I probably should have just stayed off of it then. You have 22,823 tickets in. 41% of the tickets are on Jacksonville and 48% of cash. I'm very comfortable with those numbers. 42% of tickets on the over, 71% of cash on the over. When we get to the market here with Jacksonville, the Jets opened at -2 and now they're at -2.5. So there's not been a huge move there, but I don't get it. We have Josh Allen out with COVID and Laviska Shenault out with COVID. So those are big loss, linebacker and wide receiver. Mm-hmm. You have Brandon Linder with the quad injury, questionable, and he's needed. But listen to this here. You have defensive back Elijah Riley for the Jets, concussed, out. Jamison Crowder, calf, doubtful, expected to be out. So with just questionables, you got Quinnen Williams and George Fant, important spots. You have Sheldon Rankins and CJ Mosley, all very, very, very important spots. Now they're questionable. But the Jets are going to be without their top 3 wide receivers. They're going to be without their head coach, Robert Saleh. They're going to be without Laurent Duvernay-Tardif and Elijah Vera Tucker on the offensive line, and 5 defensive starters due to COVID protocols. I mean, it's just ridiculous to me. And by the way, Birdie's saying Carolina +10 or more is a gift. I love hearing that. Michael Villarvelino on Bucks first half. But so I don't understand this market move. How are you playing this? Take it away, Pavi.
I think this is just a play. When I look at the numbers and I see everybody on the Jets, I think this is just the public saying, not even looking at the Jets. This is just them fading the Jags because it makes no sense for everybody to just jump on this Jets team who is bad to begin with. And now they are decimated with injuries and their head coach is not there. So it makes no sense why people would be on the Jets other than they're just fading the Jags, right? Last week, everybody was on the Jags. Everybody thought Urban Meyer, that, the guy looks like a prairie dog. He got fired. So now, the Jags are going to play for something and something meaningful. They jump on the Jags. The Jags get, beat by Houston. So, and now next week comes, everybody completely off the Jags. I think the public maybe jumped the gun a week too early here and took the Jags in a spot a little prematurely. And I think the Jags now, with an extra week underneath, a different head coaching, system, not that it's a different system, it's just not Urban Meyer and his stupid face. I think the Jags now are getting 2 points against the Jets is, to me, a gift. I don't care who you are. The Jets do not warrant. So basically, if the books are saying that the Jags are a little bit better than the Jets, because what do you get? A -3 advantage for just being a home team. So they're saying that the Jags are better. I don't know. I just don't understand why anybody, this amount of money and this amount of picks on the Jets just is insane to me. And then you got Lawrence, number 1 overall pick, against Wilson, the second overall pick. If there is one game, Lawrence is going to want to really, really prove himself, it's going to be this game, in my opinion, because he is obviously underperformed. He's not been playing well at all this year. He's been playing rather poorly. And, going against you don't want to lose against the guy who was picked right after you. So that for all these reasons, I think the Jags are the right pick. I think it's crazy that people are picking the Jets, especially with all these injuries. It's nuts.
I agree. It's nuts. And the 2.5 right now, Pinnacle's at -103. So even Pinnacle's saying this could go to a 3, which is just crazy to me. Do you want the Jaguars plus 2.5 -3, or do you want them on the money line plus 121?
No, I'm gonna just take them plus 2.5. They are the Jags at the end of the day, Jimmy. I'm not crazy here. I'm gonna take the points. I'm not gonna get all greedy on a beautiful Boxing Day.
There's no such thing as Boxing Day in America.
Oh, I'm aware. But you got to educate the people sometimes, Jim.
Jags plus.
Hello again. The Jets have to lose this game. This is the game for the number 1 overall pick. Have to lose this game. Most important Jets game of the year right here.
All right.
It's a sweet condo.
You need to see the view, not the crack wall. Okay, Pappy, is there anything else that you would like to add before we move on?
I'm adding 2 games here. Oh, sorry, I did take Minnesota plus 3.5. I don't know if it's at plus 3 now, but I did take Minnesota at plus 3.5. I honestly think the Rams are overrated. Who the Rams beat the last 3 weeks? The Jags, whoop-de-doo. The Cardinals, which at the time looked impressive. We've seen the Cardinals the last 3 weeks. PU, stinky. And then who else did they beat last week? They beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks. And with some horrific calls, the pass interference, the hold on this 3rd and 18. I know it's part of the game, but Cooper Kupp is playing unbelievable. This might be the most underrated player in all of sports right now. What he's doing and the lack of them talking about him in the media is, I know they are, but they should be talking about him all the time. Anyways, he's playing fantastic. I just think the Rams are still overrated. And now the public's finally back on them. They couldn't deal with the Rams. They won 3 in a row. Public are all about the Rams. I like the Vikings. I think the Vikings are actually underrated. They're a way better offense than Seattle. I have New England +1, or sorry, -1 now. I got them at a pick 'em. The pendulum swung a little too much for me now. They're at home. They're coming off a loss. They beat Buffalo before. I know it was in the Wingate game, but I think now it's essentially a pick 'em. I like New England. I'm going with Belichick off a loss. I believe it's 2 losses now in a row for Bill. So give me New England. And then I'm going to take Chicago with big blank Nick Foles +6.5 against Seattle. I don't think Seattle warrants a touchdown over the Chicago Bears because their defense has been playing well. And, had Fields been able to get in, get some scores in last week, that could have been a game against the Vikings. So there it is. Those are my 3 add-ons.
We can get you the Bears +7 at -108, the Patriots -1 at -104. What up, Brian Watson, my guy? And then Jags here. Do you want? Oh, sorry, not Jags. The Vikings. Do you want them +3.5 at -124, or do you want them +3?
I'll take the +3.
+3 at -111. Oh, sorry, +3 at -101.
Yeah. I broke the piggy bank for a couple games ago. Now I'm being a little, I'm watching myself. I'm watching my cash. Don't just give him a +3.
All right, there is Pavy's action here on NFL Pub Hub. He's on the Falcons -6.5 at -122. He is on the Jags +2.5 at -103. The Patriots -1 at -104. Bears +7 at -108, and the Vikings +3 at -101. Pavy, my man, are the comedy clubs open right now in NYC?
Yeah, they're back.
Cool. Where are you performing next?
New York Comedy Club. I'm there all the time. Just show up, and if I lost you some money, feel free to give me a quick rabbit punch to the gut.
Okay, a little rabbit punch.
Hey,
Hey, Pavy, we love you, man. Follow Pavy at Mr. Alex Pavone on Twitter. Pavy, have a giant Sunday, my man. I will be in touch.
Good luck, buddy. Take it easy. Thanks.
There he is, Pavy in the house. We go from Pavy to our number 3 ranked capper here on NFL Pub Hub. He's had 3 shows here. He's 8-4 plus 3.55 units, and he, I believe, is a quarter of a unit out of first place. It's very tight on top. Please welcome to the show from Jacksonville, Zoe in the house. Zoe, what's happening, my man?
It's time to move into first place, Jimmy. This is the week. Going back to my first place spot.
This is the week. It is the week. And you did have that comfortably to yourself for a little while. Arthur Mead Jr., thank you so much for the dono, my man. Says, thank you, Pub Sports, for all these great shows and great hosts. Happy Boxing Day and Happy New Year's. Much love to you, Arthur Mead Jr., my guy. All right, we get started with Jacksonville, Zoe, on the Rams-Vikings. So we just heard Pavy add the Vikings to his action here. The Rams are pretty healthy. They have 2 offensive tackles out with COVID, Andrew Whitworth and Joe Noteboom. Defensive lineman Greg Gaines out with an ankle injury. He's questionable, not out. For the Vikings, Dalvin Cook out with COVID, and that hurts. But Adam Thielen is back in action, back ready to roll here. Zoe, you're 8-4 on the show. You've been excellent. Take it away. How are you making money here?
Yeah, I feel like a little repeated record from Pavy on this one. I got the Vikings at plus 3.5, but I'll take the plus 3, Jimmy. Having Thielen back's huge because they're going to put Ramsey. Ramsey's going to guard one of them, either Jefferson or Thielen. And I don't view Cook being out this year that big of a downgrade. Matson's been playing well, and Cook is not the same running back he was last year. His touchdowns are way down, and he's not breaking off so many long runs. He's a good back, don't get me wrong, but I don't view it as a severe downgrade. And the Rams on the road, I mean, here you got a Vikings team that beat the Packers at home a few weeks ago. Rams on the road coming off from that game against Seattle. I just think that the Rams are everybody's darlings. Vegas can put a little extra juice on the Rams because everybody sees all the stars. Meanwhile, I think the Vikings win the game today.
I like it. I got 3 earlier in the week and had to pay 5 cents of juice. Now it doesn't feel so bad. It's minus 115. It cost me on Tuesday. You're getting in on this plus 3 at minus 101. I like the breakdown. Let's move on. Jacksonville Zoe's next spot. Again, 8-4 on the show, plus 3.55 units. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Carolina Panthers, Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina, 71 Fahrenheit, sunny, 4 miles per hour. We already went through all the injuries on the Buccaneers side, and the Panthers do have DJ Moore with a hamstring injury and offensive tackle Cam Irving with a calf injury. And Pabby was afraid to move on the Panthers. I was not, but did make the mistake of getting in last night. I saw the 10 and it was juiced, and I just thought that more money was coming in to their direction, and that did not happen. Don Mack says more is probable, I think. Terry Walker looking at the under in this spot. Razor Sharp also liking the Vikings. Great to see you, Razor, in the house. We had Dutch Boy Fresh also in the chat. Joey Harb here as well. Take it away here, Zoe. Bucks, Panthers.
Yeah, so I got in at 10.5, Jimmy. So I know I think I saw it 11 this morning. So I was a little early myself as well. I like Carolina at home, divisional opponent, good defense. The Buccaneers are beat up and missing a lot of offensive talent. All this you pointed out earlier with Pavy. But ultimately, it just comes down to how much Tampa's going to win the game. But how much do they want to win this by 14? Does it really matter to them if they win by 7 or 14 with them being so unhealthy? I think Darnold plays half decent today. I need the Carolina to score 14 points. If they can score 14 points, I can feel good that we're going to get a 21-14, 24-14, something like that. I like Carolina getting the points here, and all the public loves the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. Let them bet that, run it up to 11.5, 12. I don't care. I still think Carolina's going to cover this 10.
Well, you have yourself an 11.5 at Pinnacle. Panthers plus 11.5 at minus 113. Nutflush Allen says Bucks defense will shut down the Panthers. Lamont Williams' max bet is on the under here in Tampa, Carolina, and that bet makes a ton of sense.
That's correlated with the Panthers, I think, Jimmy. If it's going to go under, the Panthers should cover this 11.5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to add to the action here. I have too much action. I believe I feel like I have these advantages, and this could be horrific for me. This could be a horrific day. I'm nervous. I added action last night, and then I couldn't sleep. Like I couldn't. I having all this action here with all these COVID issues is very, very, very nerve wracking. So, okay, let's add Zoe's spot. So Zoe getting a nice number here. Panthers plus 11.5. At minus 113. Let's keep rolling with Jacksonville. Zoe currently ranked number 3 here of the 19 cappers that we've had on NFL Pub Hub. Detroit Lions at Atlanta Falcons. We talked about this off the top, and we have Pavi moving on the Falcons here. We talked about Goff. I think Oruware being out is huge.
Yeah,
huge. Sure. He's been spectacular for them back there. And the Falcons don't really have COVID issues. Marlon Davidson, sure, but not a lot of issues there. Lions, Falcons, Zoe, take it away.
Yeah, so Atlanta does not play well, Jimmy, against the best of the best teams. If you look at their last 3 losses, they come against like some form of New England. I'm trying to remember the 3 teams, but they're all with very good records, all very good teams. I think Tampa's in there. There's one I'm missing, I think maybe the last 2 weeks. But Atlanta, when they play bad teams, like the Jaguars and like Carolina Panthers, they usually cover. And this is a home game. Tim Boyle in. I got it early in the week at -6. I still will take it at -7. I think they probably win by double digits. And I think that Detroit – everybody's looking at last week's game and how they blew out Arizona, which I loved having the Lions last week at +13. I just see this as a little recency bias of how Atlanta lost, how Detroit won. I really like to fade those biases, and I think Atlanta wins here comfortably.
Yeah, I love the look. -7, -104. Deacon says just cancel a few of those NFL bets and use that cash at Santa Anita. Horses, no COVID issues. Don't worry. I got lots of cash for today. I just might not have much cash tomorrow. We're all good today. We'll focus on the now. Atlanta -7, -104. We have a question that's come in for you, Zoe, from our guy Turnsey. He says, ask Zoe about Lawrence over 216.5 pass yards. Want the perspective from someone who knows this team in and out. And we have already discussed all of the Jets' issues, as well as their defensive coach, Robert Saleh, not being on the sidelines. Zoe, what do you think of the over 216.5 pass yards for Lawrence today?
That scares me, Jimmy, because I think today is a James Robinson day. And Lawrence doesn't have many wide receivers left that are healthy. I mean, their Treadwell is our number 2 wide receiver. And he dropped the ball twice last week at the game I was at. And Marvin Jones is a decent receiver. He's not a number 1 receiver, though. Marvin Jones is number 2 receiver. It scares me. I just think the Jaguars are going to want to run the ball. And I'd stay away from the over 216.
All right. We also have Nuke Worker saying he'd rather have Susan Boyle than Tim Boyle, which makes me think we might have a project for Jose right now. If we get a little, it's a lot of work. I know we work on the fly, but if we get a little look at Tim Boyle with Susan Boyle's face, I think we'd all be better off. I think we'd all be more complete. Let's keep rolling with Jacksonville. Zoe here. The next spot for him is a game we haven't spoken on. Washington football team 6-7, 3-3 on the road. The Dallas Cowboys 10-4, 4-2 at home. We're at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Let's go over to where the cash lies in this spot. This is the Sunday nighter. 34,184 tickets in. We have 58% of the tickets and 71% of the cash on the Cowboys. So they're slightly public, but big bets coming in on them. Then total perspective, 33% of the tickets on the over and 77% of cash on that over. Injury-wise, Washington beat up. You got defensive back Landon Collins with a foot injury, William Jackson III with a calf injury, defensive lineman Daniel Wise with a knee injury, defensive back DeShazer Everett, personal. And then we get into COVID. So with COVID now, again, it's been tricky getting all the COVID information. So if there's anything that I'm saying here that you think, oh no, he's going to be available or whatever, please let me know.
Sure.
But these are the issues with Washington. Nate Orchard, not used that much, defensive end, COVID. Cole Holcomb, linebacker, COVID. Brandon Scherf, COVID. Linebacker Kalike Hudson, COVID. Center Tyler Larson, COVID. And then Antonio Gibson with a toe injury and Curtis Samuel with a hamstring injury. For the Cowboys, Tyron Smith, ankle. Cornerback Jordan Lewis, COVID. Safety Malik Hooker, COVID. Defensive tackle Tristan Hill, COVID. And they're not that beat up with this COVID situation here. We have Dallas opening up as 11-point favorites. It's been dropping. It's now at 9. I'm on the under 47.5. It's now at 46.5. Zoe, take it away. Washington, Dallas.
Yeah, I was like you, Jimmy. I wanted to bet Washington earlier in the week. And with the return of their starting quarterback, I thought Washington is the right side. I decided, I don't do this often, but I dug into it a little further. And I really like fading Dallas's offense this game. And so I have under 28.5, I think, is what the number I got. And I just don't see Dallas be able to put up more than 28 points against this Washington defense. The offense scares me. The COVID issue scares me. But have you watched Dak Prescott play his last couple games, Jimmy? Something doesn't look right. I don't know what it is, but he just looks – I mean, you have all those great wide receivers. I just love the under 28.5 in this game.
The 28.5 makes a ton of sense. It's quite juiced right now at Pinnacle. I'm going to pull up FanDuel and see if I can do better for you here. But it's at Pinnacle. They have it mighty juiced at minus 132.
Holy cow.
Let's see what I can get you here for a team total, alternate spread. Okay, let me just move over here. See if I can get you something better. Here we go. Totals. FanDuel, can you help us here? Away points. Away. Home points. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. Wow. FanDuel did it for you. Over 28.5 at minus 106. Oh, sorry. Under. What am I talking about? Jeez,
under.
Of course. Under 28.5 at minus 116.
I'll take it.
Much better. Okay.
I'll take it.
All right. Under 28.5 at minus 116 for Jacksonville. So, all right. So the last game on your card here is the Monday nighter, Dolphins Saints. For the Dolphins here, there's been a big market move towards them. The Saints opened up as 3-point favorites. They're now 2.5-point favorites with the quarterback issues that they're dealing with. And the Dolphins do have some COVID issues, and Will Fuller done for the year. He's not coming back. But Greg Mance, guard, Duke Riley, linebacker, tight end Keithan Carter, guard Robert Jones, and Justin Coleman, cornerback, are all dealing with COVID. But the Saints look like they will not have Taysom Hill or Simeon. So they're in a mess. Take it away here, the Monday nighter for you, Zoe, your last game on the card.
Yeah, Jimmy, this is interesting because I don't usually look at headlines, but I did I don't know why. I was looking at next week's games last week, and I took the Dolphins +3, and I got lucky with COVID and with all the quarterback issues. But I even like the Dolphins at -3 in this game. Ian Book is going to be the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, rookie quarterback for Notre Dame. I watched a lot of Notre Dame games with him at quarterback. Not that impressed. He's a good runner of the football, not really a good passer of the football. Miami on a great run right now. I think it's 6 in a row, Jimmy, that they've won, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And New Orleans, what I'm surprised at is I had it +3, and I looked, and New Orleans shuts out Tampa, and Miami barely wins last week. I thought, man, this line's going to go towards New Orleans. It opened on Monday morning at +3 again. It didn't move at all, even though New Orleans shut out Tampa and their defense looked great. I just don't think New Orleans is going to score many points in this game. I think the Dolphins are on a roll. Their defense is pretty good, definitely good enough to defend against a running game of Kamara with a third-string quarterback. And I think you're going to get Tua playing better. I mean, Tua's playing fairly well, even though the media just loves to hammer on him and say how bad Tua is. I like Miami in this game, even at -2, -3, whatever you have. I got lucky on this one, getting it at +3 last week, but I'll take the luck when I can get it because you and I know we've been on the other side of the bad luck with those early bets as well.
Yeah, nice job. It's a very nice place to be in for you. We can get you the Dolphins. Whoa, you have an option here. You could take the Dolphins -3 at +110, or we could get you under that 3, 2.5 at -113.
I'll take the 2.5 -113. That little juice doesn't scare me.
Okay, -2.5 at -113. Zoe, thank you for taking the time to roll with us. Zoe does all our shows when the Jags aren't at home and they're on the road here. And we didn't know how glorious it was to have Zoe on the show until he joined us first in week 7 and he started 3-1. He did that same thing in week 10, 3-1. He's 8-4 plus 3.55 units. This is his action. He's on Vikings +3 at -101. All these odds are available right now as we speak. Panthers +11.5 at -113. Atlanta -7 at -104. Cowboys team total under 28.5 at -116. And the Dolphins -2.5 at -113. Zoe, my man, thank you so much for sharing your hard work with us and the number one spot within reach for Jacksonville. Zoe, thank you, my man. Have a great day. And follow our guy, Zoe. Let me just put his Twitter handle here in the chat for you guys to follow him. And we want more Zoe, and we want more Zoe on Twitter as well. So let me just pop this up here. We want more active Zoe on Twitter. Here we go. Zoe is here in the chat. So follow him. The more followers we can get him, the more active I know he will be. There's his Twitter handle. Zoe, thank you so much for your time. Any last words, my man?
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. I hope you enjoy your time out in California, and I look forward to a big day today. I would love a 5-0 today or 4. Was it 4? I can't remember how many I gave you, but I'd love to have it undefeated today, and I hope you enjoy your time out with the ponies today.
You've given us 5 looks from Jacksonville Zoe, so 5-0. Thank you, Zoe, my man. A big day for us at Santa Anita. Anybody watching right now in the California area, come meet us in the infield. We're going to do it up real nice today in LA. It's beautiful, sunny day, a little cold. All right. He says, wow, that's a dad handle. We have made fun of Zoe's numbers after his name, and we will get him to fix that up, but he needs more followers. We can do it that way. All right, let's bring in your number 2 ranked capper here on NFL Pub Hub. You know him as the star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, and I know him as that as well. I also know him as one of my great friends. Please welcome to the show, Clint in the house. Clint, how are you, my man?
Give me the bag. It's Sunday, baby. Let's go. I got some football. I'm ready.
You are looking good, Clint. And by the way, those of you watching right now, I have seen Clint's action. He tweeted it out. I retweeted it as well so everyone could see it and so he could lock in lines. And he's going for it today. He's got some big plus lines. He's going for the number 1 spot today. Let's get to work. We start with Rams, Vikings. We know that Dalvin Cook is out. Thielen is in. We know that the Rams have some COVID issues on their offensive line, but not too bad. And you are making 3 different moves, 2 of them of the plus line variety here. Take it away, Clint. Rams, Vikings.
I'm coming for that number 1 slot, Jimmy. You know, this whole season, I've been extremely careful about backing my Vikings. The weekly Vikings PSAs have been on point. In fact, I think I've only missed one where I was just completely wrong. And if I'll be honest with you, Jimmy, I was wrong on the weekly Viking PSA last week because I thought the Bears were going to pull off the outright upset. But was I wrong, Jimmy? Was I really wrong? If any team other than the Bears is playing, the Vikings choke away that game last week and lose. They dropped 2 easy touchdown end zone passes that should have been scores. I don't think Mike Zimmer and the Vikings are going to have the warm cuddlies coming off that win from last week. I don't think the Vikings are going to be relaxed and let their hair down because they got away with a win. They know how close their balls were to the buzzsaw last week, Jimmy. That easily could have been an L on our record. And not only that, but we have an amazing situational spot taking place here where we were supposed to be on a short week welcoming the Los Angeles Rams to our stadium. But instead, thank you, COVID. It may be the only time I've said that in the last 2 years, Jimmy. But now the situation is flipped. The Rams played on Tuesday night. They have a ridiculous short week ahead of them. They're maybe a little fat and sassy, a quick turnaround coming into Minnesota Vikings Stadium, one of the very few places in NFL today that still has a damn solid home field advantage. Today's the day, Jimmy. We're rolling Vikings. I got +3.5. I laid -115 as soon as I saw that hook pop up there. Not only that, I'm going money line. I got +155 on it last night when I tweeted it out, and I am excited for this one. My Vikings are pulling off the outright win, and we're going to go for that wild card slot.
I love it, but that's not all you have to excite us enormously here, Clint. You also have a player prop at +550. One touchdown from this man, and you will win the NFL Pub Hub contest. Take it away. What's your player prop?
I am ready, Jimmy. So what we got is our guy, running back Kene Nguanu. This man, I don't know if anybody's been keeping tabs on Kene, watching the Vikings as closely as I have been, but when he gets his hands on the ball, he comes out of there like he's shot out of a cannon, Jimmy. This kid can run. And what we're dealing with is a Rams defense that absolutely can be run on. Now, kind of like my guy Zoe said, Dalvin Cook being out, I ain't worried. Alexander Mattison is maybe the best backup running back in the NFL today. He slots straight in where Dalvin Cook left off. I am not concerned about the production dropping off. But now what we have is this third string running back who's going to get his potentially spot in the sun here today. Because if Madison slows down, if Madison needs a break, they're going to have no issues handing the ball off to this kid because he is explosive. And I think we're going to get a goal line touch or two on this one, Jimmy. +550. No one's going to see it coming. I sprinkled him in a couple of my DraftKings lineups. Kene's going to get the end zone today for that first NFL touchdown.
Kene Nwangu TD +550. Iowa State product, I believe. Kene Nwangu touchdown +550. He's going for it all right here is Clint. So 3 spots, Vikings +3.5, Vikings money line +155, and Nwangu TD +550. We move up to the next spot and more plus line action from Clint. I can see why he's so pumped up today.
I'm ready.
Chicago Bears 4-10, 2-5 on the road at Seattle Seahawks, 5-8, 2-4 at home, Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. 26 Fahrenheit, possible snow showers, 9 miles per hour. Fender Jazz says I'm jonesing for some MMA and your Monday shows from our guy Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast. Dennis Garcia making moves over at Gulfstream Park, 145 exactor box, and the 5 to win over at Gulfstream Park. Thank you for sharing that with us, Dennis. So the Bears are dealing with COVID, and some of these guys can possibly play today. So this is the situation, and this is if you think anybody's going to jump in. Bet365 has that prop at +600 for those of you looking now. Clint has locked in his numbers, and it still worked for him because he got the 3.5 on the Vikings and the +155 money line. All right, Xavier Crawford, defensive back, concussion. Same with wide receiver Jakeem Grant, concussion. So Jason Peters, offensive lineman, ankle. Andy Dalton, the hand, groin. They're out. Now, I mean, Justin Fields' ankle is out, but he wasn't listed as out on the injury report. He was listed as questionable, but we know that he's going to be out as well. There's North Ender in the house. Great to see you, my guy. So it's odd talking about injuries. Now let's talk about COVID. Akeem Hicks, Jesper Horsted, tight end. Also tight end Jesse James. Running back Ryan Nall. Wide receiver Allen Robinson. Now he could come back. He's capable. He's been off for enough days, but he's still on the COVID list. Is out. Safety Tashawn Gibson, COVID. Cornerback Jalen Johnson, COVID. Now, all those last 3 guys, they could be in the lineup. For the Seahawks, they have linebacker John Radigan with a knee injury, cornerback Blaswan Austin with COVID, cornerback DJ Reed, COVID, defensive tackle Brian Moan, COVID, offensive tackle Brandon Shell, COVID. Take it away here, Clint. You got some big plus lines by your action.
This one's a little bit scary, Jimmy, because I honestly thought that, like you said, when I made the play, I thought Fields was going to be coming back in the game. He was questionable. I didn't realize he was going to be out. So that is a big question mark here for me. But regardless, we just talked about the Bears. They're kind of feeling the same thing that the Vikings are coming off of last week. They're getting hot at the end of the season. It doesn't matter. They're already out. They're already done. But they've got a very young team. They're on the upward path. And what these guys are learning is that they are competing with teams like the Vikings that are potentially headed for the playoffs. So they are right there. They are close. These are young players who are going to be hungry. They're going to be pissed off that that game slipped through their fingers, and they're going to be coming back, trying to get that win that eluded them. And who are the Seahawks, Jimmy? The Seahawks are a team that they've been a playoff team. They've been a potentially Super Bowl contender for a couple of years. People think of them that way. They think of themselves that way. And I feel like they've just been getting worse and worse. They've been falling apart. Their quarterback is injured. The offense isn't clicking. Nothing is working well. I just think these teams are headed in different directions. You've got a young, pissed off team that seems to be getting better, whereas you've got an older, established team that is kind of falling apart, and now they've got nothing to play for. So I'm not really scared of the Seattle Seahawks at this point, Jimmy. And on top of that, Robinson, I think he's getting replaced by Darnell Mooney. That kid is coming on at the right time. He's athletic. He's explosive. He's fast. I think that Mooney is going to be a big player in the game today. So I did take the Bears plus 6.5. I got minus 105. This is the one that kind of bit me in the ass from locking my stuff in early. Could be getting a plus 7 at this point. Unfortunately, going to miss out on that hook. And I also took that money line. Again, a lot of this was kind of predicated on Fields being involved. So my palms, as you would say, are a little sweaty for this one because these plays I'm not quite as confident in as I was when I locked them in. But the one spot that I will stick to, I don't really care who's at quarterback. Darnell Mooney is going to be the opportunity for them to score. Darnell Mooney is going to be the kid that gets them on the board today. His touchdown prop is plus 210, and I definitely still want to stand by that read. I think he'll have a shot at the end zone more than once today. Mooney gets the score. Bears just got to keep me within a touchdown, and I think we can hit 2 out of 3 of these at least.
I love it. Bears plus 6.5 minus 105. Bears money line plus 150. Darnell Mooney touchdown plus 210. And then we go into
225 on that money line, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
Bears money line was plus 225. The Vikings money line was plus 155.
I put this in last night. I believe you're absolutely right. Sorry, I plus 225.
Can't be robbing me a whole dollar, Jimmy.
75 cents. But you're right. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Sorry, I put this in last night. It was Christmas night. There was a little cheer.
Fair enough.
Okay, but thank you. Thank you for mentioning. Okay, now we move into the teaser, and Clint is the only capper we've had that's succeeding with teasers this year. They've been an abomination. They've been dismal. I am going to put out some stats at the end of the year just to give us all a better understanding with just one season. So the sample size isn't enormous, but what's been working and what hasn't been working. And these teasers are getting destroyed. Take it away here. You have the first game, and let's be kind of tight here. Not too tight, but the first part of your teaser is Bills Patriots. And we haven't talked about this game yet. 40 Fahrenheit. Oh, no, we did briefly because Pavone added it. But 40 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 10 miles per hour. For the Bills, Starlo Lele, personal. Or there's other things going on. He did have COVID, but he's out. John Feliciano, COVID. Guard Cody Ford, COVID. Wide receiver Gabriel Davis, COVID. Cole Beasley, COVID. Defensive end AJ Epinesa, all dealing with COVID. And then Kendrick Bourne has COVID. So does Deatrick Weiss Jr. for the Patriots. But they have Stevenson, Joshua Bledsoe, who's not as important, out. And then as always, they have a ton of guys as questionable here. Big players. Jawan Bentley, who's been questionable every week. He keeps playing. N'Keal Harry with a hip injury. They need him. Adrian Phillips with a knee injury. But you are starting your teaser with this spot. Bills Patriots. Take it away.
Yeah, I locked this one in early again, Jimmy. I got the Bills teased up to plus 8. So I got just over that touchdown. And I really think that that's a pretty sweet spot. In fact, I think the Bills are kind of outright the side here, if I'm being honest. We saw this game just a couple weeks ago, and everybody saw the Patriots win. So, of course, the Patriots are going to win again when they rematch just a couple weeks later, right? I don't think so, Jimmy. I think these Buffalo Bills are due for some regression. Now, as a lot of sports bettors, a lot of people out there might be going, Clint, what do you mean regression? Well, Jimmy, just like variance, there is both positive and negative regression. I think they've got to regress positively, Jimmy. They've got too many weapons. They've got a young, talented quarterback who's got one hell of an arm on him. And they have just been, if nothing but disappointing the last couple of weeks, these Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to put it together. And we saw that game against the Patriots. The weather helped the Patriots, Jimmy. They didn't even have to throw the ball. All they did was run the ball constantly for 2 straight hours to get that game, and they damn near got a L at the end of the game. We saw the Buffalo Bills marching down, finally being able to open up, finally being able to throw the ball when the weather conditions slowed down. If there's no weather concern today, the Bills are going to be able to run their offense the entire freaking game, Jimmy. I think they're in this one. I think they show out a lot better than they did last time. I think they make some adjustments. And again, if they lose, I just need it to be by less than a touchdown. I got +8 in my pocket. I'm happy in that spot.
That is the first half of your teaser here. The second half of your teaser is in Chargers Texans. We have not really broken this game down, but we will more as we move forward throughout the show. Quickly here, Chargers are destroyed with COVID, and so are the Texans. And I got in too early on the Texans, and it's just, God, it's just so irritating to mess up and lose points here. But you have Donald Parham with the concussion. We know that. But listen, this is who's out. We have Jalen Guyton and Mike Williams at wide receiver. And that's not all. Andre Roberts is as well. So there you have 3 wide receivers out. You have Austin Eckler out with COVID. Defensive tackle Justin Jones, defensive end Joe Gaziano, backup quarterback Chase Daniel, linebacker Chris Rump, safety Trey Marshall, cornerback Tavon Campbell, cornerback Keemon Hall, and then linebacker Joey Bosa, center Corey Linsley, and then Derwin James dealing with this hamstring injury. Then with the Texans, they're an absolute mess as well. But in my estimation, not quite as bad as the Chargers. But again, you're starting with a much better football team. So let's just quickly go over this with the Texans. Fairbairn, their place kicker is COVID. Brandon Cooks, COVID. You have David Johnson with a quad injury, questionable. But offensive tackle Titus Howard, center Justin Britt. You have defensive end Jordan Jenkins, defensive tackle Roy Lopez, cornerback Lonnie Johnson, safety Eric Murray, linebacker Tay Davis, quarterback Jeff Driscoll, linebacker Eric Wilson, Jaleel Johnson, defensive end Derek Rivers, defensive tackle Malik Collins, defensive end Jonathan Greenard. Jonathan Greenard is possible to come back here. So is Lane Taylor, but that's a ton of issues here in COVID. How are you adding this to your teaser?
You know, Jimmy, I'll keep this one pretty simple. Again, I kind of got in early. There's been a late push here on the Chargers. Not surprising. They went from -10 to what? Now they're -12.5 in some spots I'm seeing. Like lots of movement here late on the Chargers. I got them in this teaser down to -4 last night, and I feel comfortable there. I don't want to lay double digits on these Chargers at this point. Like you said, they are kind of ravaged by COVID. But the key is they are a much better starting team before the COVID hit. This is a dumpster fire. The Houston Texans are awful. They've had nothing to play for all season. We've seen them pack it up and take their ball home several times already this year. Now they lost their best wide receiver, the only guy who really is a threat to put up points on this offense. I don't see how they score, Jimmy. I have no idea how the Texans are even going to move the ball for this game. Maybe it's close. Maybe it's a bum fight and they're throwing sticks and rocks at each other by halftime. But I think the Chargers can cover a -4 for me in this spot. We still got Keenan Allen, and I think that's all we're going to need. So tease down to -4. I like the spot on the Chargers.
Bills +8, Chargers -4. Going for the number 1 spot here in NFL Pub Hub, and our number 1 capper on NFL Pub Hub is next. But we have Bills +8, Chargers -4 for Clint. Then we have Bears +6.5. Bears +225. Darnell Mooney, touchdown +210. Kene Nwangu, touchdown +550. Vikings +155. And Vikings +3.5 for Clint. Clint, can you give us a quick idea of what's going on your big podcast on Monday?
Hell yeah, Jimmy. I'm taking a couple weeks off since as of right now, there is no MMA, unfortunately. So I get one more week to just kind of collect myself. We're coming back on January 10th for the UFC's starting January event on the 15th, Saturday. So don't expect to see the Die Hard MMA podcast for another week or two. But once I come back, I'm coming back strong, baby. We finished up over 30 units for 2020. One, I am ready to kill 2022, and I'm going to be chomping at the bit, not being able to bet on MMA for a freaking month, Jimmy. I'm ready. But first, I'm going to take down that pub hub. Let's go, baby.
There he is, our guy Clint in the house. Follow him on Twitter at DieHardMMAPod. Trusty says, I would hate to think the number one capper on the football show is the guy who does MMA. I don't know why. And we all want to cap and do cap multiple sports. So I don't agree with that at all. I would be very proud of the stars of our MMA shows to succeed in NFL. And that's what's been happening on our show, because your next guest also succeeds and is an excellent MMA capper. He's also ranked number one here on our NFL Pub Hub. This guy is uncanny. The consistency of him is uncanny. He is now making his eighth appearance here on NFL Pub Hub. 7 shows he's done with us, and he's only had one losing day. Wow. Look at this guy, Billy Brisbane, in the house. Let's see him. Brizzy, what's happening, my guy?
Man, what a great day to be a weed smoker, because all the drinkers this morning, they're all hungover, but us weed smokers out there in the world, I'm feeling nice and refreshed and ready to go. I smacked basketball yesterday. Finally, I needed a good basketball day. It's been rough on the NBA Pub Hub, but NFL Pub Hub, we're about to smack this card, and man, I can't wait to get into this one.
Brizzy, you've been so fantastic on this show. We've loved having you on, and we haven't seen you now since week 13. So week 13, he went 1-1 plus 0.3 units. Week 12, 1-2 plus 0.12 units. His touchdown props just continue to cash. Let's get right to work right now. Stan Lynch says, just saw Jimmy wagered on the Lakers yesterday. They've lost 5 in a row. Why would you bet on LeBum or Lecron, as I've been calling him? Look, every time everybody gives up on the Lakers, I've cashed on them. And this was the first time I haven't. And I'm not afraid to go back to the well, Stan. And I'm not having a good NBA season, but I'm way up on Lakers action. All right, let's get to work right now. 1 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 10-4, 4-3 on the road at Carolina Panthers 5-9, 2-5 at home. We're Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. 71 Fahrenheit, 74 miles per hour. We've talked about the injury issues on the Buccaneers, and the Panthers are quite healthy in comparison. Also, Sam Darnold will be making an appearance on the field today. Take it away, Brizzy. How are you getting paid here?
Yeah, let's just cut the bullshit out then and not talk about the injury reports, man. Gronk saw a season high in targets, 11 targets last week, which translated to a 2-catch, 29-yard day. There's a lot on the line today for the Buccaneers. They can clinch the NFC South with a win or a Saints loss. It can also lock up a playoff berth between various results in other games, like if Minnesota and Dallas both lose, or if Minnesota loses in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the Panthers, they're focused on the playoffs, and they're not focused on the playoffs anymore. They're focused on the draft. They're projected the number 7th overall pick, and they would increase their chances to 22% to a top 5 pick with a loss, and they would be eliminated today. If they would be eliminated out the playoff picture today, basically, if the Buccaneers beat them. So, when Tom Brady time goes to most and you knock out a couple of guys in their rotation, it wouldn't be right if Rob Gronkowski doesn't find the back of the end zone today. The best number was on BetMGM. I got it at plus 135. First play right off the day, Rob Gronkowski, anytime touchdown. We're leaving it off exactly where we left off at last time, Jimmy.
Rob Gronkowski plus 135 anytime touchdown. You've been cashing a ton of these touchdown props. That's how you get your card started. Gronkowski plus 135. Next up for Brizzy, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Pittsburgh Steelers at Kansas City Chiefs. Jesus, don't ask. My goodness.
Oh my God.
$100 donation from Don't Ask, Don't Tell says, got my pub rub in just in time for Christmas. Thank you to my pub hub family. Don't Ask, Don't Tell, your support is, just unbelievable and so constant. And it means so much to us. It means so much to us. And that, we're so proud to work for Pop Sports Radio, and we won't ever sell you anything. We just want to win together, and the support you give us is incredible. My goodness. Don't Ask, Don't Tell with the giant dono for us. Thank you, man. Brizzy, let's get him a winner right now.
Yeah, because this is actually supposed to be my best bet, but best bet's the one that ends up being the least amount of odds. The Chiefs, they got a visit from Santa last night with the activation of Tyreek Hill off the COVID IR. The Chiefs are going to be with at least without at least 5 players who are going to be on their COVID IR. But I'm really too focused on 2 players. 2 of the players are Harrison Buckner and Tommy Townsend, their kicker and their punter. Jimmy, it's so bad that they signed Tommy Townsend's little brother from the practice squad to punt and kick for him today. So I personally think Mahomes is going to release it, and we're going to see Mahomes chop it up like he did back in the day, what made everybody fall in love with Mahomes. You give no Travis Kelce out there, he'll lead the team in receptions, yards, receiving touchdowns. And in the press conference, they said he was in the team virtual meetings all week, and he's ready to go, and he knows the game plan. And then the last point is, man, the Steelers' defense has allowed 157 yards and a touchdown per game on average. A fucking touchdown. And Tyreek Hill's anytime touchdown prop is only at -105. And the only reason why that's that low is because of that he just came off the COVID IR, and people haven't really noticed yet because everybody was drinking last night on Christmas.
It's wild here. I'm so confused why I made a bet thinking that either Kelce or Tyreek Hill would be out. And then I'm right. And it moves 2 points away from me to 10.5. It's just unbelievable. 48% of the tickets on the Chiefs, 61% of the cash. 48% of tickets on the under, 70% of cash. I'm on the Steelers and the under here. What is official for you here? Tyreek Hill, anytime TD -105?
-105, BetMGM, Borgata Sportsbook in New Jersey, Atlantic City.
And are you going to move on any of those punting props, or no, you're just thinking that?
I think the thing is like, if you don't have your kicker and your punter, it's going to make you be a little bit more aggressive in the passing game. So I think that's what makes Tyreek Hill one of the best daily fantasy studs on the slate. So I wouldn't be right if I had him in all these daily fantasy lineups and didn't bet his anytime touchdown prop only at -105.
Yeah, no, I get it, Brizzy. I get it. All right, let's go to the final game on Brizzy's card. It's 1 p.m. Eastern. Jacksonville Jaguars 2-12, 0-6 on the road. New York Jets 3-11, 2-5 at home. And he's mentioned that Tyreek Hill was almost his best bet. This is his best bet of the day, so we've moved it to last. And his best bets have been cashing. The Jets. The market moving towards the Jets, and it makes no sense to me. I loved Pavone's breakdown off the top of the show. Pavone was talking about how the bias of everybody losing money on the Jaguars last week, and I wasn't one of them. So I see this as a great opportunity for the Jags. The Jets are going to be without their top 3 wide receivers. They're going to be without their head coach, Robert Saleh. They're going to be without guards, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif and Elijah Vera-Tucker. 5 defensive starters are going to be out due to protocols, and the market's moving towards the Jets. Look, I don't get it, and it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm on the Jaguars here. Take it away, Brizzy, your best bet.
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you on a side note. But Visca Honcho, a.k.a. Laviska Shenault, is going to be out in the COVID IR, which makes me like this play even more, which elevated it to the best bet. But Treadwell leads the Jaguars with 28 targets over the last 4 games. And from weeks 12 through 15, he's averaged 7 targets, 4.5 catches, and 60 yards per game. And then Marvin Jones is going to get the number 1 coverage. And this is an absolute smash spot against the Jets. But the number is low because of the adjusted pass volume due to the Jets' blowout games. If this game is going to be intended close and competitive, Laquan Treadwell is going to be the best daily fantasy value play of the slate. He was in the Millionaire Maker lineup last week on DraftKings. He's been smashing. People have not been noticing. Laquan Treadwell's legit, and we're about to ride him to the bank today. Over 43.5 receiving yards at FanDuel.
Over 43.5. What was the juice associated with that, if you don't mind?
-112.
-112. Over 43.5 receiving yards at -112. Here we go. We have our star of our weekly DFS football videos. We have our star of our live MMA videos and our number 1 capper here on NFL Pub Hub. 14 and 12.
End the contest today, Jimmy. Everybody's coming on here and talking about they're coming for one. They're coming for one. We're going to play all this stuff. Nah, we're going to keep it short, sweet, to the point. This is the card, and you're going to know we're going to be number 1 after this week, and this contest is going to be over after this week.
I got to pull up his exact action here because I just love it. Here it is. Billy Briz. This is his record on our show exactly. So he's 14 and 12, but his average line is plus 112. Plus 112. So he's up 3.82 units, and his ROI on this show in 26 bets is plus 14.69%. Our leader, they're all coming for Brizzy. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang with us, Billy Brisbane. We love you, man. Go get that cash. This is a review of Brizzy's action. Again, this is his 7th. So he's done 7 weeks with us, and he's had 1 losing week. I mean, the consistency is unparalleled. We have Gronkowski touchdown plus 135, Tyreek Hill touchdown minus 105, and Treadwell over 43.5 receiving yards at minus 112. Thank you, my man. And I love the contest up front. I love the contest up top. It's very, very exciting. Keep up the great work, and thank you so much for taking the time to hang with us.
Shouts to UNC Mac, man. You guys set the standard here at Pub Sports Radio when it comes to capping all the sports under the umbrella. If there's sports to be had on the board, we are going to be making money off of it. It does not matter if I cap MMA, NFL, NBA. I will make money at the end of the day.
I love it. I love it. There he is. Brizzy in the house. Speaking of C-Mac, coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada. You can party with him as well in San Antonio last couple weeks of March, and I'm very, very excited about doing that. And I love capping with him. Please welcome to the show, Connor Mack in the house. C-Mac, how are you?
Jimmy, baby, I'm good. It's the day after Christmas. I wish I'd be going to the track with you guys today. Man, almost pulled it off, but bunch of shit here at home. But shout out to Don't Ask, Don't Tell with the $100 dono. We got one me and Max did on our show the other day, $100 from Dale. So we appreciate it. It helps us go a long way, keeping everything rolling. So definitely shout out to Don't Ask, Don't Tell with the dono there.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And we love him. We absolutely love him. C-Mac ready to get to work. And C-Mac, so I always put C-Mac and Ragu at the end of the show. You know, I love Cab. I love hearing their insights, and I put them at the end of the show. And they get hurt by the market moves. So C-Mac said, no longer. He tweeted out his action.
No more. No more of this half points and pushes. It's driving me crazy. Couldn't do it anymore, baby. Couldn't do it.
I love it. I love it. Let's go right now, C-Mac. We have Rams Vikings is where you get started. We've talked a lot about this game. We have our guy Clint bullish on these Vikings. How are you betting this spot? And I don't believe I announced where the cash was in this one. It's pretty interesting. Okay. So we have 40,817 tickets in. 45% of the tickets are on the Vikings and 93% of the cash. So there's been some huge bets on the Vikings. 74% ticket, 66% cash on the over. And a question from Brian Watson who says, who's Treadwell play for? He's on the Jags. He's on Jacksonville Jaguars. And there's Jimmy Gomez in the house. I hope to hang with him today at Santa Anita as well. Take it away here, C-Mac, Rams, Vikings.
Well, I see everyone else. I knew this number was going to move to 3 in the morning here, Jimmy. I have some money line here on the Vikings as well. But I love the 3 in the hook. I've told over time, both these teams have a bunch to play for, obviously. You know, the Rams now with the divisions. The Cardinals are being the same old Cardinals. I'm loving it. Yesterday was great for me. They kind of are on that late season slide, limp into the playoffs, get bounced. So that was good yesterday. So the Rams got big stuff to play for here as well. So do the Vikings. I love they're at home in the Dome. That place should be rocking. I know Cook's out because of COVID. And the Kirk Cousin effect is always there. But I think he's been pretty good. And I think he had his worst game of the year last week. And obviously they won that game. He got away with it in that Bears game. I think he didn't even throw for 100 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and a couple picks. So I think he's better today. A couple things I was looking up too, Jimmy. The Vikings are the number 2. Number 1 team is the Colts. Number 2 are the Vikings in kicking, punting. They make field goals. They're great, pinning teams back. That way they're 9 kick return and kickoff return, punt return. So I just think that helps out in a game like this where we want points. So as you know, I'm all over this. I'm on the Vikings plus 3.5. I think we've got a close one. Also, Stafford. Get to Stafford. They have the most sacks, team sacks combined, the Vikings do. They get heat on him. You see when he makes mistakes. I think we see some turnovers today, and hopefully it's Stafford and not Kirk Cousins. So I'm on the Vikings here, plus 3.5.
The Vikings plus 3.5. lock in for our guy C-Mac. C-Mac, did you get the regular -110 when you locked that
Yes.
in? You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So C-Mac tweeting out his action early to lock in lines, and I loved it. All right, we move on. We have Chargers Texans here, and man, the market just flying towards the Chargers. Obviously, they're a much better football team, and both teams are dealing with COVID issues heavily. And I guess the betting public believes that the Chargers will be adapt much easier. I would not be on the over had I known that all these issues are happening, but I guess it's not moving too far towards the under because there's also a lot of defensive replacements in because of COVID. So I'm not comfortable with this spot, and I wish I didn't have so much money on this spot that fucking pops off in 39 minutes. And oh god, take it away here, C-Mac. Chargers Texans.
Hey, I'm a little bit nervous of it as well, Jimmy. The playmakers that are missing for the Chargers for COVID is huge, and then defense, they're pretty good. Bosa is the big one, obviously. He's out, and that's huge for the Chargers. But when I look at the Texans, their COVID problems are a lot worse. I mean, they have 7 D linemen. Most all their offensive linemen are out. Every opening day starting offensive lineman's not in today that they had. They're gashed there. So I like that when the teams are in the trenches, they're gone. That's where I think the Chargers can jump on early. One thing about the Chargers, we saw it last week. They didn't score in the first quarter, but they scored in the second. They've been good in the first half. This has been, with this team for the last few years. They get up, then they have trouble late, and they lose in a late field goal or coaching mistakes with, in the past. So even now, geez, that game with the Chiefs, not kicking the field goals. But I think they come out here quick, early, get on lead. You still got Herbert. I think they got Allen. They got enough weapons right here in this one. I don't know how the Texans kind of move it and do anything. I know they're at home. I've took the Texans a few spots, and man, they disappointed me. To watch them, that offense has just been shitty. And I hope they do nothing today. And I hope the Chargers cover the whole game. But I wanted first half, and I knew this was going to move to 7, and it did this morning, to -115. So I had to take the 6.5. I wanted under the touchdown just in case, it's 14-7 first half lead. So I got -6.5, -110 last night.
Yeah, look, I get it completely. I'm very, very uncomfortable with this game. So I couldn't be more uncomfortable. I don't know why I have to have so much action here in 37 minutes. Next up for C-Mac is, I can't wait to hear his breakdown of this spot. Why don't I have your...
I'm Washington, Dallas.
Oh, okay, so we don't have Bills, but I don't know why I have Bills Patriots there as well. That was my fault. I wonder where that was supposed to be.
I wrote you that. I did.
Did.
I was thinking about it. I'm off right now.
Okay, you're off Bills play. Okay, thank you.
I like the Pats. If I had to, I'm just saying. We can talk about it real quick. I lean them. It's come back. I think that game is just going to be really good. It's just difficult. I can see it going over. Normally when those teams play, Jimmy, it goes under for the most part. But you know what? That total, I've gotten bit by 42.5, 43.5, and it's so close in the NFL. It's one touchdown away usually from a game like that just getting over. And we saw the first one with the bad weather stay under. So it's a tough one for me. And I lean the Pats, just at -1. I take them. But real quick, sorry to get to that. I did write that, but I was balking.
No, that stuff though is so fascinating too. Why a capper decides to stay off of it. So I'm happy that you touched on it. Never fear any of that stuff. Very quickly here, Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. Denver Broncos for Ron Crawford.
I like it.
Tuesday night. I'm on that as well at +100. It has moved 10 cents to -110. I like it quite a bit. I know everybody's uncomfortable back in Drew Lock, but I kind of like that he's taking first team reps all week, and I expect him to take care of
business. I trust the defense, Jimmy. I think that's the biggest key. I trust the Broncos defense. Lock is tough, but when it comes down to it, in that game, I would go with the Broncos because I think they have the better defense, that's secondary. And I think the game could be close, but I think they win that game.
I love it, and thank you for sharing that with us, Ron Crawford. All right, let's go to C-Mac's last game, and C-Mac may have an addition or two. It's completely up to him, but this is the last planned-on spot. Washington football team at Dallas Cowboys. But the Washington dealing with COVID issues, injury issues, and this Cowboys team is pretty healthy, and this is a big spread. We've talked briefly about this game earlier. Right now we have 39,177 tickets in, 56% of the tickets, 76% of the cash on the Cowboys. And then we have 35% of the tickets, but 77% of cash on the over, which makes me uncomfortable because I'm on the under 47.5, and it has dropped to 46.5. Take it away here, C-Mac, your final game on the card.
Well, let's touch on it real quick, Jimmy. I was on this one a few weeks ago on this show, and the blocked PAT kept me from the cover with the 6.5 in that game, and I lost. So, but from that game, I think Washington's a bit healthier. We still got to wait on Gibson. They're all questionable. So's Collins, right? We won't know till game time. What I love, and I had to take the 10 last night because I knew this would drop. I mean, I see 8.5s around everywhere now. I had to get the 10, lock it in last night because I knew this would fall here. Dak Prescott doesn't look the same for the Cowboys, but their defense has played well, and they've kept them. They've been able to win, I think, the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I see holes at times in the Dallas defense where Washington can move the ball here. Heineke's back. I think he can do enough in this ball game. Washington is, you talked about, they still have COVID issues, but I think they have enough on defense to get enough done here. And the biggest key for me here, I'll keep it short to get Ragu, is divisional primetime game, a double-digit dog divisional game. They're not at home, of course, but when you can give me the 10 or more in a division game, primetime, Sunday night, give me the Washington football team here. I think they keep this one close. The last one, Cowboys jumped out ahead. It could be a whole different way, this time. Washington get out ahead, then who knows? But when you give me this many points, I like this Cowboy team, but something's wrong with Dak Prescott. They might win this football game, but I got to take the Washington football team here. I think they make enough plays in the end to cover this number.
Yeah, and oh God, there's more and more money coming in on the Chargers. Oh God. What the fuck was I thinking? Getting in on this early was a huge for you. Getting the 10, it's such an important pivot point, and you have it. It has moved. It's 9 available at that 365 right now, but I do see 8.5 as well. So it feels like you are on a really nice bet here. Washington football team plus 10. Chargers first half minus 6.5. Robert Allen also said that bolt up best bet today is Chargers minus 6.5 first half. So he's with you on that. And then Vikings plus 3.5. Is there anything else that you're adding here, C-Mac, or those are 3 spots?
Those are just my 3 spots. The other one was that Pats game. And like I said, I take the Pats. It's just, I didn't need to push anything, and I'm not going to do it. I am looking at an afternoon game. And if I do, I'll tweet it. And I'll tweet you, and I'll tweet it out if I make another play.
Sounds good. Sounds good. C-Mac is locked in. Washington plus 10. Chargers first half minus 6.5, and Vikings plus 3.5. Thank you so much, C-Mac, for taking the time. I know you have such a busy schedule. C-Mac is the star of our Monday to Friday show alongside Maxwell Smart for NCAA basketball, NCAA net profits. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know you have such a busy schedule. It means the world to us, my man. Have a giant Sunday, and I know you're not going to be with us in Santa Anita, but we're going to run heavy in San Antonio at the end of March. I know that, my man.
Oh, for sure. Have a blast today, man. I wish I was there and cash some tickets. I know you got a lot of NFL games. I noticed your card started growing. So I hope you have a huge day today. I hope you have a huge one.
And then I didn't sleep all night, of course. just like sweating, just like, what am I? Oh, God. Jesus.
All righty.
I love you, C-Mac. Thank you for your time.
Love you too, brother.
Be well. There he is, C-Mac. We go right from C-Mac to our number 4 ranked capper on this show. If you guys remember, before he came on week 10, so he'd been on our show 3 times and he had lost, not huge, but he'd lost on his first 3 weeks on the show. He said he's going to heat up. He's going to heat up. Watch, he's going to heat up. Now he's coming off 4 straight winning weeks. Over those 4 weeks, he's 14-8. Is that right? 14-8. And he's just rolling. Last week he went 4-2 plus 1.8 units. Right now ranked number 4, and he's 18-14 plus 3.21 units, and he's rolling with us right now. Please welcome to the show the big Ragu in the house. Ragu, what's happening, my man?
Happy day after Christmas. I know you got a lot on your plate too, brother. You're going to have a fun day. I know you're first love at the track, so have a blast. I'm doing great, man. I had a good Christmas. I would have had a better week last week if Green Bay didn't screw me on that teaser. We still can't catch them fucking teasers, man. It's pissing me the fuck off with that shit. But blew 14 points, and then Baltimore did what they had to do to try to go for the win as usual. But anyways, we're on to this week, and we're on to some plus units today.
We are. That teaser did. I mean, I always cheer for you, but if you did not bet that teaser, you would be in first place in our NFL Pub Hub contest. So you're right there. You are right there, Ragu. Let's get to work, Ragu. You start with Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons. We talked about this game quite a bit earlier in the show. Those of you who missed that, Jared Goff out, so it's the Tim Boyle show. And I believe is it? Let me just check out the. Is it time for almost? There's Tim Boyle. See, I thought it'd be Boyle's body with Sarah Boyle's face. But
Shit.
Jose, he does what he wants to do here, and that's Tim Boyle's face on Sarah Boyle's body. And you know what? It's up to him. He can do whatever he wants here.
He's pushing the buttons, right?
I think I was going the other way. I think we need Tim's face. Tim's body and Sarah Boyle's face. That caught me by surprise. Okay, Detroit Lions and Atlanta Falcons. Oruwariye is out, and I think that's just huge, absolutely huge for the Lions. He's been so spectacular. All right, Lions, Falcons. Ragu, take it away.
Yeah, we had the Lions last week, with the under and the Lions, so we made out good, and now we're going to try to. Now I'm going to give it away, zigzag a little bit with the Lions because of the fact, that's huge with Goff being gone and the missing pieces here, and this Lions team, they're averaging right at about 14 points a game, and now you're going to get into a situation where we know Atlanta's defense is trash. There's no question about that, and they haven't been scoring machines. Matty Ice has been struggling to hit the 200-yard mark, last 4 or 5 games, barely. And they're going to get back a nice piece. They're going to get Cordarrelle Patterson's coming back today, and I think that should help their cause down in the Dome. Pitts has been kind of quiet. He's only had like 1 touchdown recently. So I just think it's a good spot for Atlanta. I know the numbers gotten away from me because I was looking at 6.5. It's probably up to 7.5 now. But I think they're going to have their struggles scoring points, even though Atlanta's probably going to help their effort. But I think Atlanta's going to just keep grinding away at this particular game here. And I think, Matty Ice probably have a 300-yard game and maybe a couple TDs. Maybe if they can – I don't look too much for the running game, but I think they're going to try to keep it balanced. I think they go like 60-40 pass here. And I think they cover the number. I think they get over the touchdown in this spot here. And Detroit – and not a real high scoring game, but maybe like a 27 to 10 type of game, 27 to 14 type of game. I think Atlanta gets the doubles in the spot.
Well, I hate that because just an hour and 15 minutes ago, Pavone got the 6.5. Yeah. And it cost him money. It cost him minus 122. That 6.5 is now at minus 143. Yeah. So we put you in a tough spot, and I hate doing this to you. Right. Do you have a choice here? You want the 7 at minus 124 or the 7.5 at 106?
Yeah, give me the 7 just in case I get the push.
All right, let's get that for Ragu. Ragu card getting started again. So hard for these cappers. They give you no stale lines. They only give you what's available right now, and it puts them in a tough spot. And Ragu often has to take the brunt of it because he headlines the shows that we do. Let's move on for Big Ragu. Next up, 1 p.m. Eastern, Buffalo Bills at New England Patriots. We just saw C-Mac want nothing to do with this. When I went over the issues facing the Bills, I moved on the Patriots. Minus 1.5. I just, the 2 guards are so important. And now I'm nervous because and Epinesa being out as well. Then you have Davis and Cole Beasley out. I'm nervous, but I did move on the Patriots. I got minus 1.5, and right now, The money coming in on the Bills. God, I think my additions are going to blow up my face here. Are you going to make me more confident or less confident? Take it away, Rigu.
We'll find out here in a second. So, we all know about the matchup a few weeks ago with the 3 pass attempts and all that, yada, yada, yada. But throw that out the window. This is for all the marbles for Buffalo coming into Foxborough here. The interesting look here is both of these teams are 1-2 in points allowed in defense, right? So right away you're going to think, hey, you got a good look of an under here. Both top tier defenses. But and like you said, you talked about the guards missing for Buffalo. Stevenson's out, but Harris is in. But they're missing some linebackers on the defensive side for New England. But both of these teams in these particular instance, like on away home averages, they both score about 30 points. New England averages about 30 points at home. Buffalo scores 30 points, but then you have, the defensive side of things. But my main look here is the trending play. So you have a team that's kind of trending down versus a team that's trending up. Early on, Buffalo was a hot team. They need this game. Yeah, there's going to be people backing them on account of, you go back to when Allen was in Foxborough last time. He had 4 TDs. But, we're talking about Hoodie. We're talking about the Pats. We're talking about December playoff football. Hoodie's going to scheme a defensive spot to kind of take Diggs out of the equation. Going to put all the pressure back on to Allen. And, they're going to need to run the ball, but Allen can't do it all by himself. So I just think even though we're missing pieces on defense a little bit on the New England side, I think they can make enough plays on the offensive side and not the game manager type of game, but, just make the big enough plays, the key stops. New England comes out with the win. We're going contrarian.
This is just so nice to hear this. I'm very, very uncomfortable with how the markets move back towards the Bills, but this makes me much, much more comfortable. Let's see what we can get you here, and I believe this will help you. So you have up to you. Do you want the money line minus 109, or you want -1 at minus 101?
No, I'll take the money line. Pick them.
Take the money line, and let me just see if FanDuel is going to do anything to beat this here. Yeah, they are minus. Wow. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. Okay, so minus 109 money line for the Pats for Ragu. I love this. Okay, Patriots minus 109. All right, let's keep rolling. We have the big Ragu. Next up for him is Pittsburgh Steelers and Kansas City Chiefs. Kelsey not going to be available for the Chiefs, and the Steelers are hurting. Buddy Johnson with the foot injury, linebacker, and then Freiermuth concussion, Chris Wormley groin injury, and then they have COVID issues, mainly Devin Bush hurts, losing him. And then the Chiefs have a lot of issues, and we heard Billy Brisbane talking about the kicking issues for these Chiefs with Tommy Townsend out. Also, offensive tackle Mike Remmers, guard Kyle Long, so that hurts them. And then Travis Kelce not in the lineup. And I thought that I had an advantage in this spot if one of these two guys were going to be out. It turns out I did not. The 2-point move towards the Chiefs since I got in on the Steelers, and that total is now at 44.5. That makes me feel good because that's where I got it. Take it away here, Ragu, Steelers, Chiefs.
Yeah, there's another one that kind of got caught sitting around waiting on because I do like the Chiefs in this spot, but with that number, at one point, I think they were a 10-point double-digit favorite at home, which they didn't get there. They didn't cover that number. But, we're talking about an ailing Pittsburgh team coming in to Arrowhead, which is a real tough spot to play at. And the Steelers having lose their last 3 on the road, but covering 2 of those 3, as single-digit dogs. Now they're here. They're looking at double digits. Like I said, numbers kind of ticked up a little bit. Freiermuth is out, like you said. Kelsey being out, so they're trading tight ends, but we know Kelsey's the premier tight end in the league, and both teams average. Actually, I think Pittsburgh's missing their punter also, if I'm not mistaken. So special teams are going to be huge today, on both sides of the ball. So you talk about field position, you talk about turnovers, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come into play here. But the thing that I really love the KC defense. The last 3 games at home, they've given up 9 points exactly against the Cowboys, the Broncos, and the Raiders. And, that big, huge margin victory they had against the Raiders. but they've only had 3 overs in those 8 games at home too. So I'm trying to figure out a way to bet this to find a little bit of value. I know KC's more than likely going to win like 99.9% chance that they come away with a victory here. But I was looking at team totals. I was looking at, Pittsburgh. I've kind of liked them to maybe not hit their total. But then when I looked at it, I seen it was like 16.5. I would have been a little more favorable at 17.5, probably bet an under. Because I think Pittsburgh would get some points in this game. I think they probably eclipse the 9-10 point range. I think it's going to be a lower score game, possibly because of the special teams and some of the key missing components on both sides. But I was looking towards a team total under on Kansas City, 28.5. That was my look because I think they're scoring. I think Pittsburgh is. If I look back on what they were doing defensively, they're not too bad on the road. But KC has been averaging like right at about 28 points, 27.5 points at home. And I think with Kelsey being gone, I think they're going to rely on the running game. The gimmick plays a little bit more. I don't think they're going to have the big plays downfield. I don't think Mahomes is going to try to force the ball downfield. I think we see more of a conservative type offense and put it back on their defense until they start getting healthy for next week and the upcoming week. So I like Kansas City to win the game, but not necessarily to get there by double digits. So I'm going to take Kansas City team total under in this spot.
I can't get you a 28.5, but I'll keep looking. The 27.5 at Pinnacles is at plus 101, where it's under 27.5 at FanDuel is at minus 114. So they're giving you a plus line there.
What about the team total for Pittsburgh?
They're both at 16.5, juice to 16? The over.
Yeah, like 135, something like that on the over.
Yeah. Minus 115. Oh, here we go. Got you it. There we go. Chiefs team total 28.5 at Bet365 at minus 115.
There we go. Lock it in.
All right. And all the books have the Steelers at 16.5. But funny, some like Pinnacle has it juiced to the over, whereas Bet365 has it juiced to the under. Interesting. The under 16.5 for the Steelers minus 101. But let's get you that Chiefs team total. That the 28 is an important number here, so let's lock that in for Ragu.
I would have preferred to take the Steelers under 17 or 17.5, but I think they might get right at 17 points in this spot.
Yeah, no, I hear that. We have Ragu joining us right now. 4 straight winning weeks. He said he was going to get hot. He's done that. Week 10, week 12, week 14, week 15. He has joined us, and he is over 5 units up in those 4 weeks. Let's go to the final game on Ragu's card. And this takes us to Monday Night Football. Monday, December 27th, Miami Dolphins at New Orleans Saints. And here at this point, we have issues for the Dolphins with COVID, but nothing in comparison to what's going on with the Saints. The Saints are absolutely wrecked right now. And to give you an idea, they're going with Book at quarterback, so they don't have Hill or Simeon. But to give you a better idea of how bad they are hurting, they have Carl Granderson, defensive end, out. Traquan Smith is questionable with the shoulder injury, but let's go back to COVID. They have safety JT Gray, offensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk, linebacker Demario Davis, running back Dwayne Washington, linebacker Caden Ellis. They have guard James Carpenter, safety Jeff Heath, defensive end Jalen Holmes, offensive tackle Jordan Mills, defensive tackle Christian Ringo, safety Malcolm Jenkins, and then Simeon Hill. They have tight end Adam Troutman. I mean, he's already hurt, so that's not as big of a deal. They have tight end Juwan Johnson out with COVID. And that's a mighty list. Take it away here, Ragu, the Monday Nighter.
I know, right? Wow, that's a lot. No shit. That's a lot of that's a fire sale right there, man. I know a lot of people, are going to be definitely, I know the numbers ticked way, way, way over in the Dolphins direction, and early on with this Dolphin squad, they were getting restless with Flores at 1-7. The fish are rolling right now. They really are. They're like 6 in a row. They cover like the last 5 out of 6. Last week they were a 10-point favorite against the Jets, which they didn't get there, but they got the W. And the Saints are kind of on the exact opposite end of that spectrum. You know, they started out as a 5-2 team, then they lost on a 5-game losing skid. But to their credit, you know, with all the troubles they've had at quarterback and whatnot, they won their last 2. And in those 2 games, they only allowed 9 points in total. You know, last week we all know that the GOAT got blanked versus them. He wasn't happy about that. And, you know, now they get to come back home. Not that it's any comforting, you know, with all the COVID issues that they're having, but that Saints defense is the real deal, you know. And I think their head coach, you know, Peyton, is probably one of the top guys in the league. You know, I put him right up there with Belichick. He don't have the Super Bowls to go with it, but you know, he's got the football IQ. He's got the winning. You know, the winning locker room attitude, you know, so the guys buy in. He's a player's coach. You know, they buy in, and he's going to do what he's going to do with that Saints team. Now enter Ian Book. That's the question. It's tough for a quarterback to come in, especially a 4-string quarterback, take his first snap this late in the season and on a Monday Night Football. That's an unbelievable, unsurmountable task to go in there and try to accomplish. But it is church. It is the dome, and there is some magic that happens in that dome. And as crazy as this is going to seem, I'm going to be riding the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to put it back on the defense for the Saints. And I know the Dolphins are rolling right now, but something's just telling me, something's hitting me right upside the back of my head to tell me, hey, man, get on the Saints train here. You're going to get some value. I'm not going to bet it now, and I got to bet it now for the contest, but I guarantee you when that thing kicks off tomorrow night, it's going to be sitting at least 3, maybe 3.5, with a little bit of juice tied to it. So I would definitely, if you're gonna get crazy like me and back the Saints, do it tomorrow night. Don't do it now. But for the contest, I'm taking the Saints.
Interesting. There's Ski Profit in the house. Thank you for joining us, Ski. So interesting. So you feel like the market will continue to move to Miami when people start studying.
I think we'll probably see 3 realistically tomorrow before kick.
Huh. Very, very, very interesting. Right now you'd have to deal with a plus 2.5. Let me just see what Pinnacle is offering here. Because I take that back. You can get plus 3 at minus 122 right now at Pinnacle.
Yeah, let me burn a little cash just in case I lose. And I'm going to be a sucker. All right, I'm going to give people time to go put their bets in. I'm going to make one more sucker bet because I can't be a sucker at times. So I'm going to do a dome tease. I'm going to take the Aints, and I'm going to take the Falcons in a 2-team teaser, 6.5 points or whatever you get me, 6.5. I'm going to take them. I don't think if Miami wins Miami wins a game, I don't think they're going to win by margin. So I think getting 9.5 with the Saints will be good. I don't think they get blown out because the defense is going to kind of keep them around. I don't think Miami's not blowing anybody out anytime soon. And I think the Falcons, the only team that could fuck me in this teaser is the Falcons because they've done it to me over the years. So I got to take a shot. I got to come back in. I got to put the water. Got a little warm last week. Maybe today we push it across, or Monday night, should I say?
And so the Falcons would be at would be a -1 right now. So Saints plus 9.5, Falcons -1.
Yeah, 7.5 is the Falcons, right? But you got me a 7. You said right before.
I did. I got it. How much did that cost you? Because if that didn't cost you too much, well, yeah, -124. Yeah. Let's just give you the -0.5.
Yeah, that'll work.
-0.5 and Saints plus 9.
Because you lose on a tie with a tease, most places.
Yeah. So I'll give you that. There you have it. The big Ragu in the house. He's on a teaser. Saints plus 9.5, Falcons -0.5. He's on the Saints plus 3 at -122. That was right. That I gave you the 3 at -122, Ragu?
Correct.
Okay. Then the Chiefs team total under 28.5 at -115. It's 27.5 most books, but Bet365 is hanging 28.5. And then the Patriots -109 and the Falcons -7 at -124. Again, 4 straight winning weeks for the Big Ragu. Week 10, he goes 3-2 plus 0.85 units. Week 12, 3-1 plus 2.19 units. Week 14, 4-3 plus 0.97 units. And last week, he went 4-2 plus 1.8 units. There's Mr. Gogster in the house as well. By the way, ski profits on Vikings plus 3.5, Washington Dallas under 47, and the last leg of a teaser is Bills plus 8.5. Big Ragu, thank you so much for rolling with us. We love you so much and can't wait to hang with you in San Antonio. Those of you who don't follow the Big Ragu on Twitter, please do at Big Ragu 62. I'll pop that in the chat right now for everybody. There we go, at Big Ragu 62. Coco Bongo says, have fun. It's -10 with a foot and a half of snow near Vancouver. It's crazy how cold it is in Vancouver right now. I can't even, never seen it like that before. There we go. Ragu, are you going to roll with us in San Antonio last couple of weeks of March? We want you back.
It'd be one of those 2 weeks. I'll be out there. I got a wedding like the third week, I think. So probably the last week I'll be out there.
Oh, the last week will be banging. So that'll be a great one. That'll be a great one. Thank you so much for rolling with us, my man. Stay hot. Stay hot. Number one here in NFL Public. And he said he would do this. You said exactly this on week 10. After your week 10 picks, you said that you were going to heat up. And you've done just that. Thank you, my friend. Paco Healy says, Doc is a legend and Prince of the City demanding winners from you. Well, that's what you're going to get.
Well, that's all. He always wants winners. He never losers are unacceptable in his book. Otherwise, he starts fucking crying.
Oh, we are 9 minutes till kickoff, Ragu. Thank you so much for sharing your hard work with us. There he is, the Big Ragu. Okay, let's review action here quickly. I'm not adding anything. Why would I? I've got just a ludicrous amount of action here. Oh, God. And so many lines have moved against me. This could just be horrific. I just need to focus on horses. And I've got all this action here. Ravens plus 2.5. What a joke. Vikings plus 3. Chargers Houston over 45.5. Chicago Seattle under 43.5. That's one move line I beat. Pittsburgh Kansas City under 44.5. Steelers plus 8.5. Crazy. How it could go 10.5 without Kelsey. Broncos plus 100 to beat that by a little. Washington Dallas under 47.5. Beat that by a little. Jags plus 110. I mean, could get plus 125 now. Falcons minus 6.5. Okay, there beat that minus 115. Detroit Atlanta under 42.5. Patriots minus 1.5, and then Panthers plus 10. Texans plus 10.5. What a joke! What a joke. Okay, Turnsy's play of the day is Buccaneers team total first half over 13.5 at minus 130. Falcons minus 6.5 minus 122 from Alex Pavone. The curb stomp play of the day, Tampa Bay under 44.5. Then we have Pavone on the Jags plus 2.5, Patriots minus 1, Bears plus 7, Vikings plus 3. Jacksonville Zoe joined us, currently ranked number 3, 8-4 on the show. He's got Vikings plus 3 at minus 101, Panthers plus 11.5 at minus 113, Atlanta minus 7 at minus 104, and the Dallas Cowboys team total under 28.5 at minus 116. Then we have, he's also on the Dolphins minus 2.5 at minus 113. Clint, who's now ranked number 2, is going on for big scores. He's on Vikings plus 3.5, Vikings money line plus 155, and Kene Nwangu touchdown plus 550. Jimmy Gomez says, I'm at work, but hopefully make it to the barbecue. That's cool. We'll do it up at the barbecue. Paco Healy's also on Jags money line, makes me feel a little more comfortable. So then Clint's on Bears plus 6.5, minus 105, Bears plus 225, and Darnell Mooney touchdown plus 210. Then his teaser is Bills plus 8 and Chargers minus 4, and Ski Profits also on that Bills teaser. Then we have Billy Brisbane, currently ranked number 1 on the show. Gronkowski, anytime TD plus 135. Tyreek Hill, TD minus 105. And Treadwell over 43.5 receiving yards at minus 112. CMAC tweeted his action out last night. He got Vikings locked in at plus 3.5, minus 110. Chargers first half minus 6.5. And Washington football team plus 10 at minus 110. JW, thank you for the kind words about the show. He's added Jacksonville money line and Denver money line to the card after watching. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Then Ragu, we've already gone over his action. Falcons minus 7. Patriots money line minus 109. Chiefs team total under 28.5. Saints plus 3. Minus 122 and Saints plus 9.5. Falcons minus 0.5 in a teaser. Robert Cherry going through his second bout with COVID. Robert, thinking about you. Get better soon, and keep us in the loop as to what's going on. Nuke Worker, thank you, my man. I'm trying not to be devastated that they're off turf. I should have realized they're going to be off turf. A lot of rain here the last few days. But how do you take grade 1 races off turf? How can you not give one of them? It's going to be dry all day. Theo, thank you, my man. All right, spreadsheet play today is Denver, and Dennis Trusty gave us a look, race 11 at Fairgrounds. He says he loves this horse today. Rocket Dog at Fairgrounds. Thinks it's Cox's second best 2-year-old. That's Brad Cox. It's a fantastic trainer. Rocket Dog, race 11 at Fairgrounds, says if he's higher than 8.5 or 8 to 5, excuse me, higher than 8 to 5. All right, let's have a giant Sunday. Thank you to my guy Jose coming in, producing the show on the ones and twos from Miami on vacation. Thank you for always putting in hard work. And the Susan Boyle. Oh, look at that! Can you show them your background there?
Sure. This is my background. Hello, welcome to Miami. It's going to be a good day, Jim. I can see the sweat coming off of you from all your bets, but I'm sure the sweat will be turned into vodka and some dirty water later tonight.
The sweat's actually turning into like a sickness. Like I've got this pit in my stomach. I don't know why. It's just because too many lines have gone against me, and I think that we have these perceived advantages with COVID. Are they real advantages? Oh God.
And by the way, Jim, when's the next time people are going to see us? Because our schedule is a little weird.
Yes, the next time they will see us is what? Is Tuesday. And when is that? Is that the what
Tuesday? Yeah, this is our. See, we're on vacation, guys. We don't have our days. We don't count the days.
Oh, Tuesday the 28th. Yeah,
yes,
Tuesday the 28th. And then Sunday the 2nd, and then we're going to be back in action with betting with Low Shack in the bag on the January 4th. That's it. Paco Healy, the last race is at 4 p.m. today, 4 p.m. Pacific. And Paco, if you have any problems, like if you're not going to get to the track in time, don't worry. Just meet us at Guillermo's for the barbecue. So
tell my cousin Guillermo I said hello. The Mexican American, the Hispanic alliance is strong.
I love it. All right, you guys, kickoff is in 3 minutes. Let's have a giant Sunday. Let's get that cash.